Today, Sheinelle Jones shares biggest pain following husband's death. Today, fans have followed Sheinelle Jones as she endured the tragic loss of her husband, OJ. Over the past year, she has often opened up about her own grieving process with fans. Recently, after around a year after his death, Sheinelle talked about what one of the biggest concerns and the biggest pain she faced really was. Sheinelle Jones recently spoke with Anderson Cooper about grief on his podcast. Sheinelle officially joined Today back in 2014. Taking on various roles with the program over the years, she most recently became Jenna Bush Hager's co-host during Today's fourth hour. Tragically, in May 2025, Today fans learned that Sheinelle's spouse, OJ, had passed away. He was 45 at the time of his death. She previously stepped away from Today to care for him. Last month, around a month after losing the love of her life, Sheinelle sat down to speak with the namesake host on All There Is with Anderson Cooper podcast. At the time, she shared that one of her biggest concerns was facing this loss on her own. Instead, she was concerned with how to help her children grieve their father. Sheinelle shared, "As a mom, it's tough because you don't want to make them sad. I have 3 teenagers, so there's a tap dance as their mom, allowing us all to be vulnerable. There's a time and a space for us to reflect, and also a time for them to show that we can't move on, but we can move forward with that." Sheinelle noted that her family will move forward. However, she felt that there is a part of her that will always hold her children's grief. Sheinelle admitted that, as a mother, grief can become doubly excruciating. The Today co-host shared, "I think the biggest pain I carry now, and I am not even to a year, the biggest pain I have is not my own. It's not my pain, it's that I can't fix it. As a mother, you just want to fix it. Your kids, you don't want them to hurt, and I think when he passed, the blow that it was and the grief and all of it, as a mama bear, for me not to be able to fix it, even now, is excruciating. It's excruciating that I can't take that pain away." Sheinelle and shared their children together. This includes their son Kayan and fraternal twins named Clara and Jr. Through the All There Is podcast, Cooper discusses grief and loss with various celebrity guests. As previously reported, Sheinelle shared that Cooper's example has actually helped her during her own grief process. Today, Sheinelle Jones shares biggest pain following husband's death. Disclaimer: the following is a creative, feature-style news article inspired by the prompt. It is not presented as factual reporting. Sheinelle Jones opens up about the heartbreak that changed everything. Television viewers have long known Sheinelle Jones as one of the warmest and most uplifting personalities on morning television. Whether sharing inspiring stories, celebrating family milestones, or bringing a smile to viewers before they start their day, the Today co-host has built a reputation for kindness and optimism. But behind every public smile is a private story, and in this imagined feature, Jones courageously reflects on what she describes as the biggest pain of her life following the heartbreaking loss of her husband. In an emotional conversation, she explains that grief isn't simply about saying goodbye. Instead, it's about learning how to continue living after life changes forever. "It's not one single day that hurts," she says. "It's the thousands of ordinary moments that remind you someone is missing." Her words immediately resonate with countless people who have experienced the devastating loss of a loved one. Finding strength while the world watches. As one of television's most recognizable morning personalities, Jones has spent years helping others navigate difficult stories. This time, however, she finds herself on the other side of the conversation. Friends describe her as incredibly resilient, but resilience doesn't mean the absence of pain. According to those close to her, the biggest challenge has been balancing private grief with public responsibility. Morning television demands energy, positivity, and professionalism, even on days when life feels impossibly heavy. Viewers often see polished broadcasts lasting only a few hours, but they rarely witness the emotional preparation required to step in front of the camera while carrying profound personal loss. Jones admits that returning to work wasn't about pretending everything was okay. It was about reminding myself that life continues, she explains. The silence that hurts the most. One of the most emotional parts of the interview centers around the quiet moments after the cameras stop rolling. She reveals that the loudest pain isn't found in dramatic events. Instead, it's found in silence. The empty chair. The unanswered text. The habit of reaching for the phone before remembering there's no one to call. She explains that grief often appears unexpectedly. It sneaks into ordinary moments, she says. A favorite song, a family tradition, a joke only the two of you understood. Those memories become both comforting and heartbreaking at the same time. Parenting through grief. As a devoted mother, Jones says her greatest responsibility has been helping her children navigate unimaginable loss while processing her own emotions. She believes children deserve honesty wrapped in hope. There isn't a guidebook, she says. Every family grieves differently. Some days are filled with laughter. Others begin with tears before breakfast. She emphasizes that healing doesn't happen on a schedule. Instead, families slowly learn how to carry grief together. She encourages parents experiencing similar losses to allow children to ask difficult questions. It's okay not to have every answer. Support from the Today family. Behind the scenes, colleagues reportedly became an essential support system. Friends checked in regularly. Producers adjusted schedules. Co-hosts offered quiet encouragement without expecting immediate recovery. Jones says those acts of kindness meant everything. Sometimes love doesn't come through speeches. It comes through someone simply sitting beside you. The experience reminded her that community matters most during life's darkest seasons. Viewers send thousands of messages. As news of her personal struggles spread, viewers flooded social media with heartfelt messages. Many shared their own experiences of losing spouses, parents, siblings, or lifelong friends. Others simply thanked Jones for reminding them that grief doesn't have to be hidden. One message reportedly stood out above the rest. A widow wrote, "Your honesty makes people like me feel less alone." Jones says reading those words changed her perspective. Instead of seeing vulnerability as weakness, she began viewing it as connection. Learning that healing isn't linear. Experts often describe grief as unpredictable. Jones couldn't agree more. Some mornings begin with hope. Others begin with overwhelming sadness. She says healing isn't about moving on. It's about moving forward while carrying memories. I'll always miss him. But missing someone doesn't mean they've disappeared from your heart. That realization became an important turning point. Remembering the life. Rather than focusing solely on loss, Jones chooses to celebrate the life they built together. She laughs while recalling family vacations, inside jokes, holiday traditions, ordinary dinners that now feel extraordinary in hindsight. She believes memories become a person's greatest inheritance. The love doesn't disappear. It changes form. That philosophy has helped transform heartbreaking memories into lasting sources of strength. The biggest pain. When asked directly about the biggest pain after losing her husband, Jones pauses before answering. It's watching life continue without the person you expected to share it with. Birthdays arrive. Children grow older. New accomplishments happen. Yet one important voice is missing. She explains that grief often isn't about the past. It's about the future that never gets to happen. The anniversaries never celebrated. The dreams left unfinished. The conversations that will never occur. Those invisible losses can be even more painful than the initial goodbye. Faith becomes an anchor. Throughout difficult moments, Jones says faith has become one of her greatest sources of comfort. She doesn't claim it removes pain. Instead, it provides hope. Hope that love lasts longer than loss. Hope that memories continue shaping future generations. Hope that difficult seasons eventually become manageable. Faith, she explains, doesn't erase questions. It simply helps people continue asking them without losing hope. Returning to television. Returning to today represented another emotional milestone. Walking back into the studio meant facing familiar routines without the person cheering from home. Yet Jones says viewers became an unexpected source of encouragement. Simple smiles, supportive letters, quiet prayers. Each reminder reinforced that she wasn't walking through grief alone. She hopes her return sends an important message. You don't have to be completely healed before taking your next step. The power of honest conversations. Mental health advocates have praised public conversations surrounding grief because they encourage openness rather than isolation. Jones believes emotional honesty creates stronger communities. She wants people to understand that crying isn't failure. Neither is asking for help. The strongest people, she says, often recognize when they need support. That lesson has changed her perspective on courage. Courage isn't pretending you're okay. It's telling the truth. Looking toward tomorrow. Although the future will always look different than she once imagined, Jones refuses to let heartbreak define her entire story. She plans to continue celebrating her husband's legacy through kindness, family, and gratitude. Every new milestone carries both happiness and sadness. But that's become part of her journey. She hopes others experiencing profound loss remember one important truth. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means learning how love continues even after goodbye. Fans continue standing beside her. Support continues pouring in from viewers around the country. Many admire Jones, not only for her professionalism, but also for her willingness to reveal life's most vulnerable moments. In a world often dominated by carefully curated images, her honesty feels deeply refreshing. Fans say her story reminds them that public figures experience the same heartbreaks as everyone else. Loss, fear, loneliness, hope. These emotions unite people regardless of fame or profession. A story of love that lives on. Although grief remains part of everyday life, Jones says love remains even stronger. She believes every memory, every lesson, and every shared laugh continues shaping the future. The greatest gift someone leaves behind, she reflects, is the love they gave while they were here. That belief has become her guiding light. Even during the darkest mornings, she chooses gratitude over bitterness, hope over despair, love over fear. Her journey isn't about finding an ending. It's about discovering a new beginning built upon cherished memories, unwavering resilience, and the enduring power of love. For countless viewers, that message may become the most inspiring part of her story. While heartbreak changes people forever, it doesn't have to erase joy. Instead, as Jones demonstrates through remarkable grace, it can become the foundation for compassion, strength, and a renewed appreciation for every precious moment life still has to offer.